In the lush and vibrant Pari kingdom, a unique friendship blossomed between Prince Koku and a wild yet endearing girl named Candy, popularly known as the Jungle Girl. Candy, who had grown up in the dense forest, she lived in the jungle. She wore cloth made of green leaves and played with wild animals. Her best companion was the majestic lion and the gentle elephant. Candy was accidentally discovered by Prince Koku in the thickest part of the Forbidden Forest during the Great War with the barbarians. You can watch The Jungle Girl Part 1, Jungle Girl Part 2 and The Jungle Girl Part 3 to know the beginning of this story. The links is available in the description. Please subscribe to our channel. It costs you nothing, but it means a lot to us. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an orange glow over the Pari kingdom, Candy stood at its edge, her heart heavy with sorrow. She had been banished, exiled for reasons she couldn't fully comprehend. Her life in the kingdom was over, and she had nowhere to turn. The Ojuju kingdom was out of the question due to her long-standing enmity with Princess Tandy, who had always viewed her with disdain and suspicion. The weight of her circumstances pressed heavily upon her as the darkness of night began to envelop the day. With no other option, Candy decided to return to the dark forest where she had once lived among the wild animals. The forest was a place of mystery and danger, but it was also a place where she had found solace and companionship in the past. As she ventured deeper into the shadows, memories of her former life among the creatures of the forest came flooding back. Upon her arrival, Candy was greeted by her old friends, the majestic lion and the gentle elephant. The lion, with its regal mane and powerful presence, nuzzled her shoulder, while the elephant, with its kind eyes and gentle demeanor, trumpeted softly in welcome. Candy's heart swelled with a rare joy, feeling a sense of belonging she had not experienced in a long time. The forest, though dark and foreboding, felt like home once more. Despite the warm welcome from her animal friends, Candy couldn't shake the feeling of isolation. She missed the company of humans, the conversations, and the simple pleasures of life in the kingdom. As the days turned into weeks, the loneliness grew, gnawing at her spirit. The lion and the elephant, sensing her sadness, tried their best to cheer her, but it wasn't enough to fill the void. In the quiet moments of the night, Candy often found herself reflecting on her past, the friendships she had lost, and the life she had left behind. She wondered if she would ever find peace or if she was destined to live out her days in solitude. The forest, once a place of refuge, now felt like a prison, trapping her in a cycle of despair and longing. While Candy struggled with her new life in the forest, turmoil brewed in the Ojuju kingdom. Prince Koku, a noble and just man, had long harbored suspicions about Princess Tandy's role in Candy's banishment. The prince had always been fond of Candy and believed in her innocence. One evening, unable to contain his anger any longer, he confronted Princess Tandy in the grand halls of the palace. "You set Candy up, didn't you?" Prince Koku's voice echoed through the opulent chamber, filled with tapestries and golden decorations. Princess Tandy, dressed in her finest silks, looked at him with a mixture of surprise and defiance. "I did what I had to do," she replied coldly. "She was a threat to my happiness and my future." The prince's eyes burned with righteous fury. "You think your happiness justifies ruining another's life? You are selfish and cruel, Tandy." Their argument grew more heated, drawing the attention of courtiers and servants. The tension was palpable, the air thick with the weight of unspoken accusations and festering resentment. Finally, unable to contain his disgust, Prince Koku made a bold and public declaration in the palace courtyard. "I hereby cancel my marriage arrangement with Princess Tandy," he announced, his voice strong and unwavering. The crowd, gathered for the evening's festivities, gasped in shock. Whispers spread like wildfire among the nobles and commoners alike. The news of the cancelled marriage reached every corner of the kingdom, causing an uproar. Princess Tandy, her face flushed with anger and humiliation, stormed out of the palace, vowing revenge on those who had wronged her. This decision did not sit well with King Bunga, Prince Koku's father. In the royal chambers, a fierce argument ensued between father and son. You cannot break this alliance, Koko. Our kingdoms depend on it, King Bonga roared, his voice shaking with fury. Prince Koko stood his ground, his gaze unwavering. I will not marry someone who brings harm to the innocent. My conscience will not allow it. King Bonga, seeing the determination in his son's eyes, realized there was no changing his mind. The bond between the two kingdoms, carefully nurtured over years, now hung in the balance, threatened by the actions of one ambitious princess. Back in the dark forest, Candy's initial joy at reuniting with her animal friends began to fade. Despite their comforting presence, the loneliness was overwhelming. The lion and the elephant, ever attentive to her mood, noticed her growing despondency. One evening, as they gathered by a small fire, the lion spoke softly. Candy, you are not happy here. We can see it in your eyes. The elephant nodded in agreement. You need to be among your own kind. Humans are social creatures, and you are no different. Candy sighed, her gaze fixed on the flickering flames. But where would I go? The Fairy Kingdom has cast me out, and I cannot return to Ojuju. The lion's eyes gleamed with wisdom. There is a place, Candy. A village called Homa, beyond the reach of both kingdoms. It is a place where the rich rule, but perhaps with your newfound gold, you can find a place there. The mention of gold piqued Candy's interest. Gold. What gold? The elephant rose to its feet and beckoned Candy to follow. They led her to an abandoned war camp deep within the forest. There, hidden beneath layers of leaves and earth, was a chest filled with gold coins and precious jewels, remnants of a forgotten battle. Candy's eyes widened in amazement. With this, I could start a new life, she murmured, her mind racing with possibilities. The lion placed a gentle paw on her shoulder. Use it wisely, Candy. It is your chance to find happiness and purpose once more. Determined to make the most of this opportunity, Candy gathered the gold and made her way to Homa village. The journey was long and arduous, but her determination drove her forward. Upon arrival, she was greeted with curiosity and skepticism by the villagers, who were unaccustomed to strangers in their midst. With her newfound wealth, Candy quickly established herself in the village. She bought land, started businesses, and employed many people, both men and women. Her kindness and generosity soon won over the villagers, who came to respect and admire her. Unlike the other wealthy rulers of the village, Candy used her resources to improve the lives of those around her. She invested in farming, rare goods trading, and other local businesses, ensuring that the village prospered. Her efforts transformed Homa village into a thriving community, where people of all backgrounds could find work and support. Candy's leadership brought hope and stability to the village, and she became a beloved figure among the people. While Candy built a new life in Homa village, turmoil continued in Ojuju kingdom. Princess Tandy returned to her father's palace, bringing with her the news of the cancelled marriage. King Ai received the news with a heavy heart, understanding the implications for his kingdom. The alliance with Fairy Kingdom was crucial, and its dissolution threatened their stability. Princess Tandy confided in Queen Taika, who consoled her with empty promises. Another suitor will come, my dear. Do not despair. But as soon as Tandy left the room, Queen Taika's demeanor changed. She began to laugh and dance with glee. Her plan to undermine Queen Abiyo and her children was unfolding perfectly. Taika had always resented Abiyo's position and her offspring, and she had orchestrated events to ensure their downfall. Days turned into weeks, and Princess Tandy remained secluded in her chambers, refusing to eat or speak with anyone. Her heart ached with regret and sorrow. Queen Abiyo, her biological mother, visited her often, offering comfort and encouragement. You must do the right thing, Tandy, Abiyo urged gently. Find Candy, apologize to her, and then go to Fairy Kingdom to confess. Only then will you find peace. Tandy, moved by her mother's words, finally found the courage to act. She embraced Abiyo for the first time, tears streaming down her face. I will do as you say, mother. I will make things right. She informed Queen Taika of her intentions, unaware of the older queen's true nature. Taika feigned sadness, masking her true feelings of disappointment and frustration. She did not want happiness for the royal family and secretly wished for their downfall. Desperate to maintain her grip on power, Taika sent a letter to an unknown contact, detailing Tandy's plans. The letter found its way to a masked man, who commanded a group of formidable warriors. The masked man, revealed to be the Prime Minister of Ojuju Kingdom, devised a plan to intercept Tandy. As Princess Tandy left the kingdom to find Candy, she was ambushed by the masked man's warriors and kidnapped. She was taken to a hidden base deep within the dark forest, where the masked man awaited her arrival. The Prime Minister sent a letter to King Ayu, demanding he abdicate the throne to him, citing the king's lack of a male heir. If Ayu refused, Tandy would be killed. The king, upon reading the letter, was devastated. He shared the news with his wives, who wept for their missing daughter. Queen Taika, ever the actress, pretended to grieve with them. But in the privacy of her rooms, she laughed, pleased with the chaos she had sown. Determined to find Candy, Prince Koku gathered a group of loyal warriors and set out on a quest. The news of Princess Tandy's kidnapping had reached him, and he knew that finding Candy was crucial not only for personal reasons but also for the stability of both kingdoms. The journey was fraught with danger, but Prince Koku pressed on, driven by a sense of duty and a desire to right the wrongs committed against Candy. Along the way, they encountered various obstacles, from treacherous terrain to hostile creatures, but nothing deterred the prince. Meanwhile, in Homa village, Candy noticed a group of unknown warriors buying provisions. Their suspicious behavior caught her attention, and she decided to follow them discreetly. Her instincts told her that these men were connected to the turmoil in Ojuju Kingdom. The warriors led her to a hidden base deep within the dark forest. Concealed among the trees, Candy watched as they guarded a heavily fortified structure. To her shock, she saw Princess Tandy bound and held captive inside. The sight stirred conflicting emotions within her. That night, Candy wrestled with her thoughts. Should she help the princess who had wronged her, or leave her to her fate? Her sense of justice and compassion ultimately prevailed. She decided to rescue Tandy, believing it was the right thing to do. At dawn, Candy made her move. She snuck into the base under the cover of darkness, avoiding the guards with the agility and stealth she had honed in the forest. Reaching Tandy, she whispered, "Stay quiet. I'm here to help you." Tandy's eyes widened in disbelief, but she nodded, grateful for the unexpected rescue. Candy quickly untied her bonds, and they slipped out of the base, moving swiftly through the forest. However, their escape did not go unnoticed. The warriors spotted them and gave chase. As they ran through the dense foliage, a branch tore Candy's clothing, revealing a distinctive birthmark on her back. Tandy recognized the mark, a symbol of royal lineage, but there was no time to ponder its significance. In their desperate flight, they stumbled upon Prince Koku and his warriors, who had been searching the forest for Candy. The prince's eyes lit up with relief and determination. "We will protect you," he assured them. Prince Koku and his warriors laid an ambush for the pursuing enemies. The ensuing battle was fierce, but Koku's men were well prepared and skilled. They managed to capture the masked man and his cohorts, effectively ending the immediate threat. Back in Ojuju Kingdom, King Ayu was preparing to abdicate the throne to the Prime Minister, as demanded in the letter. The entire palace was in a state of mourning and confusion. Queen Abiyo and Queen Taika both displayed their sorrow, though only one was sincere. Just as King Ayu and his wives were about to leave the palace, a commotion erupted at the entrance. Prince Koku, Princess Tandy, and Candy strode into the throne room, their presence commanding attention. The Prime Minister and his followers were brought in as prisoners, their defeat evident. "Arrest the Prime Minister and his cohorts," Prince Koku commanded, his voice echoing through the grand hall. The guards swiftly moved to apprehend the traitors. Candy, stepping forward, pointed an accusing finger at Queen Taika. She was involved in the plot, Candy declared, her voice unwavering. The revelation sent shockwaves through the court. Queen Taika's face paled, and she was immediately placed under arrest. The people were bewildered and sought answers. Queen Abiyo, however, was fixated on Candy. She approached her, tears welling in her eyes. With trembling hands, Abiyo pulled back Candy's tattered clothing to reveal the birthmark. "This is the mark of my lost daughter," she whispered, her voice breaking. "Candy is my child." The court erupted in murmurs of disbelief and astonishment. Some questioned Abiyo's sanity, while others tried to reconcile the image of the jungle girl with the lost princess. To silence the doubters, Princess Tandy stepped forward and revealed her own birthmark, identical to Candy's. King Ayo called forth an old warrior, a man who had served the kingdom for decades. "Tell us what happened to Princess Tandy's twin sister," the king demanded. The old warrior bowed his head in shame. "I was ordered to kill her in the jungle, but I could not bring myself to do it. I left her there, hoping the wild would take her life." The confirmation sent a wave of shock and realization through the room. King Ayo, tears in his eyes, embraced Candy. "You are my daughter, and I have wronged you," he said, his voice choked with emotion. Queen Abiyo wept tears of joy as she held Candy close. The long-lost princess had returned, and the family was finally complete. Prince Koku watched the reunion, his heart filled with a mixture of joy and disbelief. The woman he had fought so hard to defend was revealed to be royalty. As the joyful reunion unfolded, Queen Taika, now stripped of her power and status, fell to her knees in tears. Her facade of strength and composure crumbled, and she confessed to her heinous crimes in front of the entire court. "I conspired with the Prime Minister," she admitted, her voice shaking. "We plotted to kill one of Queen Abiyo's twins and render the other useless so that my brother, the Prime Minister, could take over the kingdom." The court was stunned into silence. The depths of Taika's betrayal were unfathomable. King Ayo, his face a mask of sorrow and anger, ordered her immediate banishment from the kingdom along with the Prime Minister. The traitors were led away, their fate sealed. The entire Ojuju kingdom rejoiced as news of the true princess's return spread. The king declared a work-free day in honor of Princess Candy. Festivities erupted, and the people celebrated with unbridled joy. The air was filled with laughter, music, and the sounds of a kingdom united in happiness. Prince Koku, observing the scene, felt an overwhelming sense of relief and fulfillment. His best friend had been revealed as a princess, and justice had been served. The bond between the two kingdoms was strengthened through the trials they had endured. Princess Tandy, with a heart full of remorse, approached Candy. "I am truly sorry for all the pain I caused you," she said, her voice sincere. Candy, ever the compassionate soul, forgave her sister. "We cannot change the past, Tandy, but we can build a better future together." The sisters embraced, their bond stronger than ever. They walked through the lush streets of Ojuju Kingdom, side by side, receiving the respect and admiration of their people. The kingdom had found its true leaders, and a new era of peace and prosperity dawned.